Yes.
Okay, my name is Romeo Orlandi. I'm the Vice President, Scientific Vice President of the Italy ASEAN Association. And on behalf of President Letta and on behalf of my colleagues, I welcome you all to this meeting, challenge and opportunities for Italy and Indonesia in the post-COVID-19 situation we are facing. As you probably know, our president, Professor Letta, is due to be in Paris, so I will humbly going to replace him today. And without any further ado, first of all, I want to welcome you all and to thank you all for being here with us today. And we have an incredible number of attendees today, more than expected. So we are glad for this. And before I go ahead giving the word to the speakers, let me show you a video message that our president, Enrico Letta, sent us from Paris. Thank you.
Suaranya nggak ada.
Diulang lagi. Selalu kayak gini deh.
Tadi udah bisa ada suaranya.
Diulang lagi.
Kenapa, Bu?
Dimatiin dulu dong, Bu.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to say hello to all of you. We organized this seminar as we did with other countries at the ASEAN level, countries like Thailand, like Singapore, like Vietnam and Malaysia. But of course, today having Indonesia at the very heart of our focus is one of the most interesting and important moments for the Italy-ASEAN Association. I would like to thank the representative of the Indonesian government, the ambassadors of Italy and of Indonesia, and I would like to thank also the Vice President of Confindustria for being present here and the representative of the Indonesian entrepreneurship world. I'm very pleased because we think that the relationship between Italy and Indonesia can be strengthened in this very period. And we think also that the discussion around the way in which our different countries are trying to overcome this COVID pandemic are a very important exchange of information, the possibility to share solutions, the possibility to share information among us around what is happening, and also the way in which our two systems, the European Union on the one hand, ASEAN countries on the other hand, can overcome this terrible obstacle. We think that we can do together something very important to help our countries, and I think this seminar, this webinar, will be a very important contribution. So I thank you very much and stay safe and see you soon.
It's now the turn of Ambassador Esti Andayani, Ambassador of Indonesia in Italy. A few years, good friends of Italy. The floor is to you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Ambassador Ngurah Swajaya, DG and Deputy of Minister of Foreign Affairs. Dear Professor Romeo Orlandi, thank you for being with us. Dear Madam Barbara Beltrame, Ibu Sinta Kamdani, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Ambassador Lattery. Good morning in Italy and good afternoon in Indonesia. Welcome again to this virtual discussion. This discussion can take place of strong partnership between Indonesian Embassy in Rome, Italy-ASEAN Association, Confindustria, and Indonesian Chamber of Commerce of Orkadim. I hope this discussion could serve as a turning point for our economies, which hardly hit by pandemic COVID-19. All forecasts point to a decline of world GDP to minus 8.8% this year. The world trade volume is predicted to decline 31.9%. Of course, we all do not want this scenario to happen. Therefore, this discussion should be able to identify concrete ideas to turn the pessimism into optimism. In this regard, there are ample rooms to be further explored. We can increase our trade in tropical fruit, coffee, spices, steels, vegetable oils, and also further develop investment cooperation, including startups and venture capitals. Finally, I hope this discussion will be followed with concrete actions. The Indonesian Embassy in Rome is ready to assist your deal until it's hatched. So thank you very much. Stay safe and optimism in this very trying time. Thank you once again. Back to you, Professor Orlandi.
Thank you, Ambassador Andayani. Now the floor is given to the Italian ambassador in Indonesia, Benedetto Latteri. Floor to you, Mr. Latteri.
Thank you very much. I take the floor from Jakarta under the rain. And I want to acknowledge, first of all, the Indonesian officials and representatives, together with the Italian officials.
Itu pakai Ditjen ya?
And representatives. Of course, a special salutation for my colleague Esti Andayani in Rome. Thank you for this kind invitation and this opportunity to meet you all. Let me say a few words in welcoming this discussion, which I hope will be fruitful. In less than 3 months since my arrival in Jakarta, I have already had the chance to appreciate the enormous potential that exists for mutually beneficial cooperation between Italy and Indonesia. Even though both countries are currently addressing challenges posed by COVID-19, trying to cope with the heavy social and economic toll, I'm confident of the resilience and convinced that in the coming year, they will be able to turn this crisis into an opportunity. Like Esti Andayani said, to turn the pessimism in optimism. The Indonesian government continues to bring forth its plan for the modernization and upgrading of the country infrastructures and for development of its productive system, including through investment from abroad. Italy, I think that can play a positive role itself in offering high quality product and advanced solutions. Many Italian companies are already active in Indonesia in sectors such as machinery, retail, consumer goods, infrastructures, automotive, chemicals, tourism, and so virtually every sector that Indonesia wants to develop. In this process, it is important that a favorable business climate prevails in Indonesia based on the simplification of rules, transparency, respect for agreement, and the rule of laws. In recent years, the Indonesian authorities have shown a strong engagement in this direction. Recently, the government has formulated 4 strategies to attract investors in this market. And personally, I have registered the willingness of the Indonesian institutions to provide assistance in seeking solution in some commercial disputes that involve Italian companies. So some problems still remain, but I trust in our joint commitment to overcome those disputes. Against this background, I look with great confidence and anticipation at the next year on my posting in Jakarta. I'm convinced that thanks to the enhanced engagement with ASEAN, Italy can forge an ever stronger and mutually beneficial partnership with our partners in Indonesia. I look forward to the much beneficial conclusion of the negotiation between Indonesia and the EU for the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which, once in force, will promote a decisive boost in commercial transaction and bilateral investment. With that, I thanks once again for hosting me, and I'm looking forward to meeting you with all in near future. The screen is back to you.
Thank you, Ambassador Latteri. Now the floor is given to His Excellency Mr. Ngurah Swajaya, Deputy Minister and Director General for American and European Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Her Excellency Esti Adayani, Indonesian Ambassador to Madrid. His Excellency Benedetto Latteri, Ambassador Designate of Italy to Indonesia, Madam Barbara Beltrame, Vice President of Confindustria, Ibu Sinta Kamdani, Vice Chairman of Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Buongiorno, good morning, good afternoon in Indonesia. At the outset, let me thank the Italy-ASEAN Association, General Confederation of Italy Industry, and the Indonesian Embassy in Rome for organizing this virtual discussion. It is both a great pleasure for me to join this discussion aimed at exploring innovative ways to unlock the potentials of our bilateral cooperation and certainly identify strategies to address challenges on this effort. Despite the unprecedented challenges all of us have been confronted by, caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, nevertheless, our today's discussion is indeed timely, since most of us have been started to embark into our respective economic recovery efforts, although public health, I believe, remain the most urgent issues we are all striving to tackle. We note the Eurozone GDP has been contracted by 11.8% in the second quarter of this year, while Indonesia's GDP has also been contracted 5.3% in the same period. However, we remain optimistic that Indonesia is projecting to record a strong recovery in 2021 of an estimated 4.8% up to 6% by 2022. Both of our countries are still in the middle of our struggle to flatten the curve of the COVID-19. And of course, we are preparing ourselves into the new normal. COVID-19 pandemic has been disrupting everything, particularly our economy. It has been affecting our trade, investment, and tourism like never before. While we are all embracing for the worst, however, we have a strong belief that it should be soon recovered if we are collaborating jointly to address our common issues. Let me just briefly highlight where we were in the first semester of this year. The value of our bilateral trade has declined by 13% in the first semester of this year as compared to the same period last year. Italian investment in Indonesia is currently only 7 million, which is very small in the first semester of 2020. Even before the pandemic, bilateral trade figures and investment have not yet reflecting the significant potentials, and even unfortunately on the declining trend in the past years. This should not happen if we are engaging in a more frequent manner. I wish to underline the increasing potentials in the region, even in a post-COVID-19 situation. The market size in Indonesia is huge and continue to grow in terms of purchasing power due to the growing number of middle-income population in our country. Indonesia is part of 600 strong ASEAN market, and soon we will be able to finalize the world's biggest comprehensive economic partnership agreement, or RCEP, hopefully by the end of this year. Let us use this opportunity to reinvigorate our bilateral economic cooperation by organizing more discussions and business contacts like this. And in this context, our office, our embassy in Rome, certainly, of course, the Italian embassy in Jakarta, I believe stand ready to facilitate the interactions between our business people. Our government is committed to increase our ease of doing business, and hopefully we will also finalize and concluded the deliberation of the omnibus law, which is currently being deliberated by the government and the parliament. Our government have made significant progress to address the infrastructure deficit, and this is certainly the priority that our government is emphasizing in these coming years. We have completed many infrastructure projects since 2014. This includes, among others, new airports, toll roads in Trans-Java, as well as the government is completing the Trans-Sumatra toll road, power plant, telecommunication infrastructure, new seaport, mass rapid transit system, and railway connectivity, including also we are in the process now of the constructions of the high-speed railway between Jakarta and Bandung. In 2019, the government has launched $412 billion program to boost our infrastructure development. This will support more than hundreds of industrial estates across the country, the archipelago, special economic zones across the country, and also, hopefully, this will create a more efficient logistical cost, thus creating a more competitive business environment in Indonesia. Second, we address some of the perceived workforce inefficiency. The government has launched national drive to reform our education and training system. Vocational training and enhancing human resources capacity is the priority agendas of the government of its second term. Investment in vocational training and education, as well as research and innovation, are designed to prepare our workforce to be competitive, to be more competitive in emerging skills, so that they not only can fill the job, but also creating business environment, good business environment in the emerging industries in Indonesia. Indonesia is also home of the largest number of tech unicorns, and even we have decacorn in ASEAN and beyond. We have more startups as compared to most of the countries in the region, except perhaps China and India. Indonesia has been attracting huge interest on digital economy. And third, in addition to political and security stability, the government, as I mentioned at the beginning, is finalizing omnibus law deliberation. And I hope Ibu Sinta can also update on that, because he's heavily involved in the deliberation with the parliament. The omnibus law aims to improve certainty for investment climate in Indonesia. The law will amend and revoke previous regulation, and of course, to make Indonesia a more competitive for foreign direct investment. All of the above mentioned steps have undertaken by the government were meant to underline that Indonesia is certainly always ready for business and always ready to engage with our colleague from Italy. The current global economic situation has been overshadowed by a trade war between the US and China. Even potentially also we see between the US and the EU. And the current pandemic has also disrupted the global supply chains. In this context, Indonesia has been one of the favored options for destination for industrial relocation or diversification to support a better global supply chains in the world, especially here in the region. To correspond to these trends, the government of Indonesia's concrete step is to improve conducive environment, economic environment for foreign investors, including for our colleagues from Italy. To that end, a number of sectors that the government has been trying to attract are, among others, of course, certainly pharmaceutical and medical supplies industries, digital economy. Internet economy is in Indonesia is forecasted to grow to 130 billion by 2025. There are many opportunities for Italian investors. These include internet, mobile services, digital services, such as e-payment, fintech, online marketplace, smart city development, and so on and so forth. Indonesia is also home to a very limited number of Apple Academy outside the US. Energy is also one of the potentials that we could also collaborate between Indonesia and Italy. Some other areas poised to growth are also automotive industries, e-mobility, lithium battery and automotive spare part industries, as well as creative industries. Please study further this potential and do not hesitate to contact our missions for further information. Please also note that Indonesia is not the one you might understand decades ago. Indonesia certainly is ready for business. Indonesia has been developing its competitiveness. Ease of doing business has already been improved significantly in the past 2 years. So certainly there are a lot that you can explore further in Indonesia. Therefore, we certainly welcome as many as possible Italian businesses to come and also to interact with their counterparts in Indonesia. And in this regard, certainly the government is with you to help all of the businesses, including also from Indonesia and Italy, for you to explore further the potential in Indonesia. Let me conclude by saying that this pandemic should not stop us from exploring the potential that we could do, like what we are doing at the moment by using this platform. Please be assured that Indonesia is open for business, and our Italian friends do not forget that we have a huge potential for you to explore in Indonesia. Certainly, we would like to welcome you all and looking forward for the fruitful discussion. And I hope that there are concrete recommendations that you can also provide to the government of both countries. And of course, we are here to help you and also to facilitate for you to do business between Indonesia and Italy. I wish you a fruitful virtual discussion. And of course, grazie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Deputy Minister, for your open, far-sighted, and enlightening speech. We thank you. Now, before I give the floor to Vice President of Industria, Barbara Beltrame, I would like to inform you that we will have a short Q&A before the end of this meeting. So if you have any question, feel free to submit them to our colleague. Now the floor is given to Barbara Beltrame, Vice President of Confindustria, in charge of internationalization of the Italian companies. Ms. Beltrame, the floor is to you.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to attend this seminar on Italian-Indonesia economy relation as a representative of Confindustria, the Italian Confederation of Industry. I would like to thank the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. A special thanks also to Enrico Letta, President of the Association Italian-Asian, who unfortunately could not attend today. Ambassador Andayani, Ambassador Letari, Mrs. Sinda Kandani, Vice Chairwoman of CADIN, and all the partners that have supported the organization of this event. First of all, I would like to spend just a few words about our organization. Confindustria is the most important organization of private manufacturing and service company in Italy, representing more than 150,000 companies that employ more than 5 million people. We represent more than 20 industrial sectors. Among them, we have machinery, infrastructure, energy, automotive, and so on. Our membership is composed by big, medium, and small enterprises, and most of them are globally well known due to the quality of their manufacturing, especially in high-value added goods. This capability contributes to make Italy the second manufacturing country in Europe and the seventh in the world, with more than 400,000 manufacturing companies and about 3% share of world industry production. We rank first in the world for research productivity. We are the best performer in textile, leather goods, shoes, and rank in the top position in sectors such as metallurgy, electronic component, and diagnostic instruments. The COVID-19 outbreak, the huge impact of our industry, has put in evidence the urgent need to strengthen industrial partnership on an international scale. Italy and Europe are making big effort to support the small medium enterprise, mobilizing financial support and increasing flexibility on loan repayment. COVID-19 emergency has distributed the normal operation of some Italian industry, but we can say that production and operation are now back to normal in Italy. Confindustria has played a key role working together with Italian and European institutions to mitigate the economic consequence. We need now to look behind. The post-COVID-19 requires us, as Industrial Confederation, to support in any possible way our company to strengthen the presence on international market, to relaunch both export and industrial partnership. Being international is a key tool to mitigate the social economic consequences of the outbreak, and C region assume today a more strategic role for this regard. Allow me to say that when we generally think of Asia, we often focus our attention on the giant of China and India. But during the past year, Italian companies realized that it is worth looking behind them and focus on the Asian market. Coming to our bilateral relation, Indonesian market offer tremendous opportunity, and this makes your country a top priority for the Italian industrial system. Indonesia today is a strategic market for Italy in the Southeast Asia region and an important partner with more than 3 million euros of commercial exchange in 2019. But this is not enough. All through our relation market, a very positive trend in the past year, they remain largely below the real potential. With a market share of 1% in 2019, Italy ranked 19 of commercial partner of Indonesia. If we look at the figure on investment, FDI have also been very weak in the past year, definitely under our expectation. For this reason, we need to figure out ways to build a longer-term approach to better match our mutual industrial strategy. The rapid growth of the middle class in Indonesia and the need to increase the technological level of local manufacturing offer important opportunity for Italian companies, not only in terms of export, but also in high added value industrial partnership. Allow me to say that the industrial growth of Indonesia will largely depend on its integration in the global value chain, and in Indonesia, when the challenge your country will have a leading role in driving the future growth of Asia. Your succeed will regardless depend on collaboration with international partners, able to offer what your industry needs, and Italy can play an important role. In terms of value adds, export, in fact, Italy is the second manufacturing country in Europe and the sixth in the world, with 40% of industry using robotic technology, an increase of 30% in R&D investment in the last year. Italy has been involved in a process of deep reform at all levels to boost their productivity. The National Plan on Industry 4.0 has marked the beginning of a new approach to industrial policy with medium and longer term objectives. Those data confirm an important trend. Italy is not only a big exporting country, but we represent an industrial system I specialize in terms of quality and technology. As far as the industrial sector are concerned, I think we should focus our effort on machinery, the first voice of our export to Indonesia, in infrastructure and transportation, energy, telecommunication, healthcare, and automotive. Also, for the green and smart technology, Italy is a global leader with a strong commitment to safety and environment protection. According to us, those are the industrial sector with a greater potential of cooperation. Nevertheless, our bilateral FDI in all those sectors are poor. Allow me also to say that it is the time also for Asian investors to explore new investment opportunity in Italy. The attraction of foreign investment is among the decisive element of Confindustria program, and we have played a decisive role in placing this theme of the core Italian economy policy. We need to go beyond and take all the necessary steps to encourage a long-term partnership on site investment in production facility. This goal will reach only if upgraded level our partnership with the promotion of a more advanced cooperation, especially in knowledge and R&D investment in industrial sector. As a last point, I would like to spend a few words about protectionism. Our economies are very vulnerable to restriction measures because of their trade openness and integration to global value chain. A global shift toward major restriction may have a negative impact both for our commercial relation and FDI. In the last 10 years, G20 countries held off many protectionist measures with an increase of more than 50%. And allow me to say that our company still have some issues related to market access barriers in Indonesia. I am confident that we can work together to remove commercial restriction and make a trend more open. Confindustria is directly involved at the European level to promote mutually beneficial negotiation and conclusion of FDA between Europe and Asia. We have a support negotiation with some countries of the area, as well as the entry into force of FTAs recently concluded with Vietnam and Singapore. Only trade openness will allow Asian countries to climb the value chain and boost productivity, and only trade opens will help to bring our economy closer together. Summarize my impression of the future evolution of our industry relation. I believe Italian know-how can support the growth of your country much more than we have done in the past. In terms of action, Confindustria will be available to cooperate and promote concrete initiatives for this purpose. We have a strong common goal that is the strength of our industry system. We are aware that there are also weaknesses at trade, but my personal attitude as an entrepreneur is to focus and work hardly on the opportunity side. The future of our industry relation will depend on how we will match our weakness and strength. To all of you, go my heartfelt wish of good work and the future of a common achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President Beltrame. Before we proceed with the next speakers, allow me to say that also with your suggestion, we did as the Italian Italy Association, we did an unprecedented update of the Italian companies in ASEAN last year, and they came out a very growing and significant number for Indonesia, where Italy reached 88 companies, of which 33 are there with manufacturing plants. This report has been done in conjunction with the Italian Embassy, the Italian Trade Agency, and the Italy-Indonesia Business Association. Overall, in Asia, in the 10 ASEAN countries, Italy touched 522 companies, which is both a significant and growing number. Now, without any further ado, I would like to give the floor to Ms. Shinta Bidijaya Kamdani, CEO of Sintisa Group and Vice Chairwoman of Kadin. Kadin is the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Indonesia.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Bapak Ngurah, Ibu SD, Ambassador SD, Ambassador Mlateri, and also my counterpart in Italy, Barbara. Thank you for this opportunity. Maybe before I start my presentation, I would like to also introduce the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are actually, our establishment is mandated by law in Indonesia, and we are the umbrella of all businesses in Indonesia. So all businesses are supposed to be member of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have 517 offices around Indonesia in all 34 provinces. We also have about 200 sectoral associations under Kadin. So we are very much looking forward to work together with the Italy Confederation and also all businesses in Italy. I have to say, while preparing this presentation, that I'm a bit sad. I'm supposed to be visiting Italy this year, especially to my favorite place in Tuscany. So, you know, preparing this presentation is, I always wonder when I will ever be able to go back and, you know, visit my favorite place. Anyway, let me just start by saying, of course, the COVID has caused us immense stress to global economy. Prospect for economic and trade cooperation between Indonesia and Italy is definitely affected. COVID update in respective market, particularly in how COVID affected confidence also in various market players in Indonesia as well as Italy. And this is definitely will be impacted in the near future within 1 to 2 years. Needless to say, both of our economies are badly damaged by number of confirmed cases to date. Italy and Indonesia has both more than 200,000 confirmed cases. And although the number of COVID cases in Indonesia and Italy may not be much different, I think the pandemic causes more, perhaps severe economic damages to Italian market than Indonesia. Right now, Italy is already in technical recession in Q2, while we are, I think, going into recession in Q3. Now, this for Indonesia is our biggest GDP contraction in the last 2 decades. To be, we also, economic to date, we have so far shows that Indonesia market confidence is a bit resilient and less sensitive to pandemic compared to some other market in the world. We witnessed Indonesia consumer activity slightly increase when we relaxed the local quarantine measure in June and August. Indonesian PMI even rose to about 50 in August 2020 after it fell in April of 27.5. However, right now we are sitting in another what we call PSBB, limitation on lockdown. So this will definitely impact also our GDP growth this quarter and next quarter. I think with the bleak immediate future economic projection, it seems that we cannot hope much for 2020. However, I think strong improvement in Indonesia, Italy economic activities can be happening. I think Pak Ngurah mentioned in 2021, we are also hoping that. If we look at this slide, I just want to project here that Indonesia is the 3rd biggest export destination in the EU. After Italy is Indonesia's 3rd biggest export after Netherlands and Germany, with a total export to Italy at around $1.94 billion in 2019. However, as you can see in the presentation, our aggregate bilateral trade is shrinking in the past 10 years. This is mainly due to Indonesia declining export performance contributed by a significant decline in CPO export, decline in more than 100 million per annum since 2014. Other than CPO, we also see decline in export of footwear, chemical products, and rubber products. There are growth in the export of stainless steels, plastic products, coffee, and frozen seafood. However, the overall export growth in the 4 commodities is far from the export damage that we suffered due to EU measures on Indonesia CPO. Thus, in 2019, for the first time in decades, Indonesia is also on trade deficit against Italy, amounting about 27.9 million US dollar. This deficit is not only caused by CPO, but we also see that Indonesia is importing more industrial goods from Italy over the years. All top 3 of Italy export commodities to Indonesia, machinery, electric equipment, and organic chemicals, experienced positive trade growth in the past 10 years. And we import more machinery and capital goods for our industrial development. So this is actually good news. Despite imbalanced trade dynamics, we believe also that Indonesia and Italy are trading partners that complement each other's economy. There is hardly any commodities that we traded that are directly competing. I was trying to search, and even the plastic products that Indonesia and Italy export each other are actually completely different types of plastic products. This fact means that Indonesia and Italy has very big potential to develop a supply chain in manufacturing. If we create an environment which enables open and seamless trade and investment between us. Now, I want to show also the FDI, the investment. Italy is our 7th biggest EU investor in Indonesia, with investment value in Q1 2020, $1.9 million US dollar, and total investment of about 27.4 million in 2019. But like Barbara also mentioned, this is really far from our economic potential. As you can see in the slide, it is apparent that Italian business present in Indonesia are mostly in service industry, primarily in trade and repair services. Total investment up to 2020 is about 188 projects amounting to 105.7 million US dollar, as well as also in hotel and restaurant business. This is up to 445 projects amounting to 37.1 million US dollar. And also in manufacturing industry is scarcely done. So the only notable investment in manufacturing industry is Italy FDI in rubber and plastic industry done in 2014 and 2015, amounting up to 100.13 million US dollar. Other than that, the industry, there are minor Italian FDI in leather and footwear industry, chemical and pharmaceutical, machinery, textile industry, and F&B, with a total investment amounting to 2020 from 2014, about 6.49 million US dollar. So in the post-COVID bilateral investment expansion, it may not obviously happen immediately, except for investment project which has been determined and allocated prior to the crisis. However, it is clear that the opportunity to invest are open for both services and manufacturing industry in Indonesia. Pak Ngurah mentioned about the omnibus. Yes, Indonesia is, right now the parliament is processing to pass the omnibus, and this is the first structural reform that would really provide a much better investment climate in Indonesia. And also, we are looking forward on the conclusion of the EU CEPA, while we are now negotiating. Now, in this slide, I would like to show you some potential cooperation in which we can tap post-COVID. This big theme is creation and enhancement of supply and value chain in the post-COVID. The following is a number of potential supply and value chain cooperation that we can do bilaterally. Some of them, for example, medical equipment, pharmaceutical, food-related supply chain can be considered a low-hanging fruit. I want to just go through very quickly. For example, on vegetable oil, the culinary confection business supply chain aim at enhancing competitive advantage of Italian culinary and confection business by enhancing the absorption of Indonesian palm oil and coconut oil in their supply chain. For example, we see production of chocolate-based confection will taste best by using our palm oil. The second is the coffee-related business and supply chain, and this is also can be done both in Indonesia and Italy. Italy is a country with high consumption of coffee, in which Indonesian coffee can be exported more to enrich the market. On the other hand, Italian more mature coffee-based business, so for example, coffee roasting method, barista training and licensing can be adapted also by Indonesia emerging coffee-based industry. Indonesia has been importing medical equipment and pharmaceutical products from Italy, and this will be beneficial for Italian business competitiveness if the production can be done also in Indonesia. And not just tapping for Indonesian market, but also to reach out to Asia Pacific market more effectively. Development and also manufacturing of electric cars will be lucrative given the increased demand for climate protection. And to date, development of electric cars in Indonesia have been solely done by Japanese car makers. So Italy as a global car maker will benefit both Indonesia and Italy if they can also develop and manufacture in Indonesia. Now, cosmetic, fashion, fabric design is to be expected as Indonesia is growing domestically and trying to penetrate global market with their own brands. Also, creative industry branding and marketing will be great to be cooperated, particularly for our SME, since Italy and Indonesia SME are primarily family business in consumer goods with desire to promote their own brand. Now, lastly, I also want to mention here that we believe the EU CEPA, Indonesia-EU CEPA, will be vital in bringing significant improvement to Indonesia-Italy bilateral economic relation in the post-COVID for a number of reasons. One is trade war and COVID-induced supply chain disruption will create a new trend in global supply chain, namely diversification of supply to be more regionalized and or localized to ensure not only supply chain efficiency, but also supply chain resilience. And should another disruption happen in the future. So it may not happen right now, but global MNC are recalculating and rethinking their supply chain against any future disruption. The second, Indonesia deeper regional integration through RCEP will draw Indonesia to align with Asia Pacific country standard and supply, primarily those set up and promoted by countries like Japan for car and manufacturing goods, and Australia, for example, on skilled worker. Although it is Indonesia's intent to diversify, RCEP will create greater disadvantage to non-RCEP countries to trade with Indonesia in competitive way against Indonesia regional partner. The trade that Indonesia have right now with Italy, say in machinery, can be diversified to Asia Pacific country for competitiveness and convenience sake. And thirdly, Indonesia is targeting to have more CPER, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, FTA and PTA with many countries to diversify our trade and expand our global market reach. In 10 to 15 years, such cooperation will bring Indonesia further as upper middle income countries. It is obvious that Indonesia cannot solely rely our competitiveness in EU and Italian market on the GSP. In fact, if Indonesia is continued to be declared as upper middle income countries by the World Bank in the next 2 years, Indonesia will no longer be eligible to EU GSP mechanism. It is not only disadvantage for us, but also for your consumers. So under the MFN cooperation, Italian business is also limited to venture to other lucrative business sector in Indonesia due to lack of market access privilege in trade and investment. So I have to say that Indonesia EU CEPA will play a very, very important role in developing more our trade and investment. Now I look forward for more discussion with you all. And I would like to say that we are greatly looking forward also to facilitate more businesses of Indonesia and Italy to work together. In Kadin, we have the business service desk specifically to cater matchmaking for people, businesses from Italy who wants to do business in Indonesia. We can find them also local partners in Indonesia. And you're right, COVID should not be a reason to move forward. So definitely we can continue having our virtual communication and connecting with each other. But most importantly, we have to really find this low-hanging fruit that can be an immediate opportunity from both sides. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kandami, for your illuminating speech about the existing and future possibility of exchange between Italy and Indonesia. Now we have a few minutes for some questions. So we just have received one from Ms. Fanny from Indonesia. And I should say that the Ambassador Lateri from Jakarta will be ready to answer. And the question is, how Italy stands on sustainability and environment, how to enter Italian market. I should say Italy is fully committed to protect the environment and to respect the environment, but I would like the Ambassador Lateri to comment on it.
Thank you very much for the question, which is really interesting because Italy stands on the top on renewables and sustainable economy. We have champions in Italy which have already, together with Confindustria, established policies on circular economy. We have a lot of champions in the agro-industry sectors, which is one of the sectors I might dare to add to the list, to the interesting list that Ms. Kandari from the Kadin have offered. sustainability means also renewables. Please do not forget that we have already went through a lot of experience in Italy as far as renewables are concerned. In this regard, Indonesia has a great opportunity with the geothermal resources. It's the first in the world for the geothermal resources, and vice versa. Italy has one of a couple of champions of in this sector. So they are still under negotiation for the first of this project. In my view, a good example for Indonesia how to exploit these enormous resources is to allow this project to start. Environmental object is also something which is related very closely to the agro-industry sectors, as I mentioned, and in that sense, we can explore very easily, together with my colleagues in the Ministry of Agriculture. We already start some ideas on that, how to match together the technology coming from Italy and the large resources present in Indonesia. So just this for a very quick sketch of the possibility of the potential between our two countries to work in the near future. I give the screen back to you.
Thank you, Ambassador. I have a question for Deputy Minister Suajaya and for Ms. Kandani about the reality and the reputation and image of the made in Italy products in Indonesia. We know and we learn from your presentation before that the reality shows that the majority of Italian exports to Indonesia is made of capital goods, mainly machines. But the image of Italian product is often, very often, associated with consumer goods. So footwear, garments, fashion, jewelry, whatever is associated with beauty, history, and culture of Italy. Now it's a kind of a paradox we have. Italy exports capital goods and almost nobody knows. Everybody knows Italy for consumer goods, but the proportion of consumer goods in the complexity of Italian exports is still quite low. Can you confirm if this ambivalence is true, and can you comment on it? Deputy Minister, the floor is yours first.
Thank you very much for the questions. I think very interesting questions. But one thing for sure, Italian wine is one of my favorite wine also. So this is a consumer products. The coffee machine from Italy is also one of the best. But I think in terms of the capital goods, indeed there are a lot of capital goods imported from Italy. But I think what we need to do is certainly to introduce more and more, and if it is possible, of course, the capital goods can also be produced in Indonesia, and then we can use the Indonesia as the production base for ASEAN as well as for the larger region when we are going to finalize the regional comprehensive economic partnerships. So indeed, of course, Italy consumer good is very well known. And I know for sure Italian capital good is certainly of high quality. And lastly, what I would like also to share to the audience here is that Indonesia is going to be the country partner for Hannover Messe, for Hannover Fair, which is supposed to be taking place this year in Hannover, Germany. But since the COVID situations, so then it will be delayed, and we will be coming to Hannover in April next year as the country partner of Hannover Messe. And this is the second time Indonesia is appointed as the country partner. So we can utilize that opportunity as well to bring the Italian businesses, especially the capital good producers, to engage with the Indonesian counterparts there to look at the possibility on how we will be able to collaborate. Of course, Industry 4.0 is one of the highest priority in Indonesia, and Industry 4.0 is also one of the main theme of the Indonesian participation in the Hannover Fair. And I believe that in Italy, you know, because when I mentioned about Apple Academy outside the US, they are only in 3 countries. One is in Indonesia. We have 3 already Apple Academies in Indonesia. The other one, the second one is in Brazil. And the third one is in Italy. So what a coincidence. So, so I think digital economy is also one of the potentials that we can collaborate together between Indonesia and Italy. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Minister. I would like to know the opinion of Ms. Shinta Widajaya about that.
Yes, thank you. I think who doesn't know Italian products, right? I mean, a lot of us are also wearing Italian products. So I think we should be grateful that I think the Italian brands are very famous in Indonesia. But I think having said that, what is important perhaps on the image, because from business side, it's more, I think, the awareness of the fact that Italy has also had a lot of very innovative technology. And the only way, I think, to be able to perhaps shift the image is for businesses to really do more, I would say more like this, you know, information sharing about what, you know, more on specific technology base. So what we're trying to do now, actually, we are now trying to focus more on each sector. So rather than do a very general business opportunities between countries, we do very much sectoral. And this way, actually, it will, we will be able to bring more players in specific industries to understand. So the way I look at it always, when we want to give more information, is to identify champions who have done it, right? So in Kadin, we have, for example, bilateral committees, Indonesia, Italy. So I set up bilateral committee Indonesia, Italy, and it consists of business people that does business with Italy. And they are actually our champions from Indonesia, and vice versa. I think Italian will have the same through their Indonesian organization. Now, by working on sectoral, specific sectorals, I think we can really expand the view that the image that Italian is not just about the consumer, especially luxury products. It's also about all this capital and technology. I want to specifically mention also about geothermal, because our group is specifically doing renewable energy. And we have done some contacts with Italian companies as well. But unfortunately, this is an area that is more challenging for Indonesia, because while we have a tremendous resource of geothermal, I think geothermal investment is very high capital. So capital intensive. So in that way, usually it will go back also to the financing. Well, we are looking forward when we look at a technology, when we work together with a company that have the technology, that will always help us in this financing as well. And this is something that we always say, well, we are looking on cooperation, investment, you know, the financing aspect is very, very important. So again, this is just my general view, but definitely there are more work to be done between us. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the last question from Alessandro Caiella, a representative of an Italian exporting company. Actually, I'm going to read this question just to be precise. As exporting company in the agro-machinery sector, already we export our equipment in Indonesia through importers in Jakarta and Surabaya. We face high customs duty, especially for some particular products. And my question is, Mr. Caiella says, what we can expect in this matter for the future? I don't know if Ambassador in Rome, the Indonesian Ambassador Andayani can answer to this, or the Vice Minister can give us an answer. I leave the floor, the decision to you.
Thank you, Professor Orlandi. Yes, this is actually the problem that we are always discussing on this with the company here. But of course, please contact us before you do or you send to make the deal and to send the goods, and we will facilitate and we will try to communicate and facilitate everything through here in Rome and the authorities in Indonesia. This is we do some already with a very good results. Of course, we not promise every time, but sometimes we need should be very patient in the process of this. But we certainly will facilitate your business. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Andayani. I think now we are going to close this, in my opinion, very, very comprehensive and interesting session. Actually, still at the moment, we have 128 participants still there, which is a huge number, a huge success for our expectations. For that, I would like to thank all the speakers from Italy and from Indonesia. I would like to thank the host, the Indonesian Embassy in Rome, all the participants, all my colleagues, and everybody who made this event possible. See you next time. Best greetings from the Italy ASEAN Association. Thank you.
Ambassador Lattery.
Okay.
Thank you. Be safe.
Bye-bye. See you. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Ada Pak Teo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Grazie molto.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao. Ciao.
Grazie.
Saluti da Jakarta.
Ciao.
Ibu Yesti,
Yes.
I'm here.
Udah, mati.
Ciao Jacopo.
Ciao.
Ti chiamo, ciao.
Va bene, a tra poco.
Venga,